Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the July 22nd, 2025 meeting for the Kitsap Regional Library Board of Trustees. I am President Eric Fong. With me are fellow board trustees Marwan Cameron and Eric Cisney. Vice President Gina Steiner and Monica Blackwood are out on excused absences today. We'll go to the Kitsap Regional Library mission statement. Eric, can you please read that for us?
Our mission statement, inspiring curiosity and connection.
Thank you, Eric. And we'll go to Jason for welcome and introductions.
Yes, good evening. With us tonight is our fabulous intern, Vanessa Bolio, who is taking over for Tammy Jeffries, who's excused. Next, we have Deputy Director, Chief Financial and Operating Officer Dan Baer, Deputy Director of Public Services Shannon Peterson, Director of Strategy and Communication Jeannie Allen, and last but not least, the Director of IT and Facilities Maintenance, Mike Rose. Excused tonight also is the Executive Director of the Kitsap Regional Library Foundation, Wendy Kyle, and no other special guests. Welcome.
Thank you, Jason. There are no additions or changes to the agenda, and there is no public comment. So we'll go to agenda item 6, the consent agenda. All matters listed within the consent agenda are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion of the Board of Trustees with no separate discussion. If separate discussion is desired, items may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda by request. The consent agenda includes 6.01 minutes of the June 24, 2025 regular board meeting, 6.02 payment of June 2025 expenditures, and 6.03 surplus library materials withdrawn from the collection for June 2025. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
I so move.
Do we have a second?
Aye. Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. We'll go to item 7.01, board member updates.
I don't have anything.
The only thing that I have as an update is it is the summer reading program, and I have 2 little girls who live next door to me. They're visiting for the summer, and you see them playing, and it's just so important that kids read during the summer and build their vocabulary and their comprehension. And so I've bribed them to have their mom take them to the library, get some books, and I'm going to pay them $2 for each book they read. So hopefully this isn't going to cost too much, but I just want to stimulate their reading any way I can. But they're great girls.
That sounds like a pretty good deal. I'll get in on that too. I've got some books, some short books I can get through. No, thank you. Thank you for reminding us about summer reading. My kiddos participate as well, so thank you for that. I don't have any updates either. We'll go to 7.02 Finance Committee report. Eric.
Well, I'm happy to report that everything is on track, normal. So.
Great, thanks, Eric. And with that 7.03 financial report, Dan, do you have anything to add beyond what is in the financial report?
I do not have anything to add beyond the 15 footnotes that are in there already.
Does anybody have any questions for Dan? Okay, we'll go to 7.04 Library Director's Report. Jason.
This meeting is moving too fast. I need to slow it down. Good evening, trustees and partial leadership team members and community. Last month's focus for our strategic priority area was community and social connectedness. I want to give a shout out to our Director of Strategy and Communication for cycling these themes through staff every month. I think it's been really well done. I think we've lived up to our challenge, our internal challenge, which was to make the strategy relevant beyond paper, right? To start having topics, to talk about them, to align our services, to align our goals with our strategic plan. So I just really want to give a shout out to Jeannie Allen for making this a priority and keeping it at the forefront, because it's also helped me as a director to really just align myself to our mission in a way that I've never aligned myself as a library worker. So thank you for that, Jeannie. We invited staff last month to reflect on really moments of connection and stories that have emerged, and whether it's a child finding a safe space in our libraries or neighbors connecting at branch events, which I've seen both happen. it really underscores the deep impact that we continue to have as a library system, both as a place and just generally in the community. These everyday interactions remind us that the library doesn't just connect people to resources, it really does connect people to people, and that's evident in all the things we do. You know, I know we're talking about June, but Pride Fest was this past weekend, and I'm sure there were lots of connections that were had. And seeing the genuine connections that happen when people in general, not just teens or at-risk youth, but you know, at-risk adults who maybe are going through financial challenges, domestic abuse, whatever the case may be, our libraries represent that. It represents physical shelter and psychological shelter and safety. And I want to give a big shout out to staff who make that possible, who make challenging interactions humane, even when we have incidents. I read through all of our incident reports and see a lot of challenging behaviors that staff humanize with, you know, very, very depth conversations that are adept at reaching them on a human level without engaging the police right away and without being too punitive. So not only are we living that in terms of you know, our values, but you know, you can see it. You know, we say it, but you can see it every day. Other stuff that happened in June, of course, we were in full force for educating both our internal community and the external community about our ballot measure, which now is very public and is all over the county. And so I want to give a shout out to also Jeannie again and Shannon for being 2/3 of really our levy steering committee. We went out and did the events. We had forums, both virtual and in person, and we had real opportunities to engage with stakeholders, engage with our community, and answer questions. And so these sessions helped clarify the why behind the measure and gave our community open space to ask questions and share feedback. And I think it was a really positive, they were really positive sessions. And so we were transparent about what's at stake and what this levy will support and what it won't. And so I appreciate their support in helping carry this message forward. I also want to give a shout out to, you know, our internal levy teams who've really gone out and taken the opportunity to educate other staff members as well, and to really, they played a part in helping the entire library ecosystem feel good about this levy, because many of those folks were not around, including myself in 2017. And so it's really taken a whole library system-wide effort to get on the same page. Other than that, summer learning, as Marwan said, is off to the races, and everything about summer is happy. And so if you have noticed that summer reading signs are up and events are happening, then we're doing our job. Jeannie has on a summer reading T-shirt. It's shrimply awesome, and I just wanted Deputy Director Peterson to give a little more info about any anecdotes for summer, and Jeannie as well, about what we're doing and some of the highlights thus far.
Yes, summer. Summer learning is kind of like a confetti cannon in a way. It's joyful, it's sparkly, and it's just kind of everywhere. And I just want to put a shout out to all the teams who do hard work throughout the year to make it happen. Of course, Jeannie's team builds beautiful designs. Our couriers are delivering thousands and thousands of books and pamphlets and all of that. Sharon Grant, our chair, is kind of getting everyone coordinated and wrangled. It's a lot of work, and really my team is just in the joyful part now. So we have programs happening all over the place, of course, events for youth. We have all ages events, musicians, artists, all kinds of things happening. We have so many amazing partnerships happening. I wrote down a couple just to keep myself honest. Working with Public Works from the county, Bainbridge Land Trust, Bremerton School District, South Kitsap School District, WSU Extension, Greater Peninsula Conservancy. So it's bringing together a lot of people in the community to educate youth, make connections, serve lunches, do all the things. So it's just amazing to see it all kind of come to life. It's wonderful, those programs, those partnerships. I also so appreciate staff that are just creating hilarious and joyful displays. There's an orca that's eating the book drop mouth and, things like this. They just do such an amazing job of making our spaces happy and comfortable and a place to feel good in the summer and hopefully be learning and reading while they're at it. So relentless fun in public services right now. Yeah. Jeannie, anything to add?
I can add on to that. On the social side of things, we have a weekly contest that's happening where people are submitting how they're participating in summer reading. So we're getting some really great photos and stories from that. I think my favorite is that we're seeing a lot of people using the passport to explore as the thing that they're doing to learn more during the summer. So they're taking the opportunity to do both library programs in tandem, going out into the community, exploring their communities, getting their passport stamped, and using that as an opportunity to also participate in the learning side of summer reading. So I think that's pretty special that we've had the opportunity to have both of those programs running at the same time. And yeah, I think a lot of engagement this year around the booklet that we put together that promotes everything. We've got the summer learning performances still going strong. So I think just summer learning is in full swing and everybody really enjoys it and appreciates it. And we see a lot of comments online about how grateful people are for the program. So very thankful for the team that puts it all together and for the foundation for making it happen every year.
Thank you, Jeannie and Shannon. So take part in summer learning. Marwan, I may be having my kids sign up for your internal summer reading program. So they're going to dive into discovery with you. So I'm really proud of the work all of our planning teams have done. As a former facilitator of this type of work and planner of summer work, a lot of what the public doesn't see is that this moment we end summer, the planning for summer, the next summer starts. And sometimes before that, really. It's a lot of work to do that. And so I'm proud of what we've done. We also have 80-year anniversary celebration stuff that's still happening. So the passport is running alongside summer learning. And with all of locations participating, collect those stamps and those prizes. And the efforts are just a testament to how busy our staff are in the summer, and that's evident if you've been in a branch lately. It's teeming with activity. On the operations front, I'm pleased to report that our Windows 11 migration is, I think, more than halfway complete. You remembered we talked about this at I don't know how many board meetings ago, or at least in a long-range strategic planning committee meeting. It's really important to the organization to have this rollout happen, and under the leadership of our IT manager, our stellar IT manager, Joyce Hawkins, and our IT team, the rollout has gone fairly smoothly, with most of the staff receiving upgraded workstations, and we're also providing training and quick resources for folks to get acclimated to Windows 11. Mike, any other anecdotes you want to share about how that process has gone?
I just want to add how rewarding it is to have a fully functioning IT team. I mean, I think I didn't talk about anything else last year other than be patient with us because we're at less than 50% staff and we're doing the best we can to keep our heads above water. And now being back at full strength with a manager that is willing to just take on even, the toughest of challenges and push the team to not just get fully in place, but I mean, they're just kicking butt. They're out in the branches. And as Jason said, we've got the Windows 11 project at this point, 95% complete on the staff side. And we're prepping to switch out all the public computers to make that transition in the coming weeks. So that'll be completely complete prior to our October deadline, Microsoft imposed October deadline. And that, along with everything else that's going on, I mean, the new copiers, the scan stations that went in place, and switching firewalls and adding new, independent internet service to all the branches and everything else that's going on. They're just, I hear no complaints. The team is just, they're happy. They're working hard, and I think they've integrated well into the organization. And hopefully, I haven't heard any complaints. I'm hearing positive stuff from the branches and the staff at how great the team's been and through this whole process. So it just feels good to have a full team that's working hard. And I knew we'd get there. I'm just glad we're there. So sorry that was more than you asked for, but that's what we got.
No, that's fine. Thank you. Last couple things, the safety topic focus on the natural disaster preparedness, and as per usual, staff are given these important timely safety topics based on the time of year that they may be relevant. So I'm really proud of the work that our safety and wellness teams continue to do across the organization. In terms of staff movement, we always seem to have a couple leaving and a couple coming, but one of the newer staff I really want to highlight is our new branch manager at Bainbridge Island, who started in June, Colleen Smith. And so we're happy that she joined our team from Fort Vancouver Library System, and she is phenomenal, and I'm proud to have a new team member who has joined us, and that we have a new manager for a wonderful branch that is Bainbridge. And then finally, I had the pleasure of giving remarks at the Friends and Donors Celebration, which was at Heronwood Garden last month. That event is always beautiful, and the foundation does a wonderful job at both creating an energizing and beautiful celebration where we had an author event and was able to give gratitude to all of our friends and donors who make a lot of what we do possible. And so really want to uplift the foundation for continuing to center our donors and our friends who, if it weren't for them, we wouldn't be able to do some of the other extended services that we're able to provide both staff and our patrons. And so without their support, a lot of what we do would not be valuable. So they are mission critical for what we do. And just want to thank everybody else for my leaders for their ongoing leadership, and the board for their own ongoing support of the library. And that's all I have for you tonight. Any questions?
I have a question for you. I'm looking at your circulation statistics, and they look pretty phenomenal. If I was getting 5 and 7% on my bank account, I'd be excited. Can you just speak to, why you believe there's such a significant increase from 2024 to 2025, and April was kind of an outlier of 12%?
I'll give you my theory, but as you know, with stats, there's a lot of different theories at play. I mean, firstly, there's a lot of hard work that goes into making all the things that happen in the library possible. So first and foremost, staff, because they work in the places that are realizing the attendance growth. And so if we didn't have friendly staff who welcome people who knew their names, and I'll give you a couple of anecdotes that will help sort of bring this into view. This week, I happened to both help close, right? It might have even been last week, but between last week and this week, I helped close Sylvan one night, and I had the opportunity to just walk about and close the branch with Ashley and a couple other staff before I left, and went through closing procedures, asked her to teach me how to close. Like what do you do? How do you do it? Because I just happened to be in. So there's still a few hanger-oners. People didn't want to leave. There were 2 chess players in the back, and I had to go and sort of give them the very customer service friendly way of closing by saying, hey, that's an interesting move. What's happening? We're about to close, but I can help you out a little bit. My main point is that I think people are here because both we are full programming, so I think it's been a gradual build, and the simplest answer has been we're kind of back to pre-pandemic numbers, right? The pandemic had an effect on all of our services in that everything was down. And so now that we're a couple years out of that, because remember when I started here, we were just on the back end of the pandemic. We were really still in it, right? We were still wearing masks, but we were realizing the full effect of post-pandemic library life. And so the other thing I will say is that when I was talking to another staff member about the stats, because we were talking about what stats looked like before that, I think the other factor is that we're running an 80-year campaign, but then it's the summer, right? And so, but that doesn't explain the year over year, roughly 10% increase. And I think it's all of those things put together. It's the fact that libraries are highly relevant. There's a dearth of meeting spaces, or a dearth of a lot of services that are available. And I think people naturally feel comfortable and welcome in libraries. There's a ton of value you get from entering a library space. We have somebody's choosing to get married in one of our libraries soon, and that's a staff member, right? And the staff member's like, I'm inviting you to the wedding. And so people, I think, are realizing and recognizing the value of what they get when they come to a library. And then I try to talk to people to figure out the anecdotes. Why are you, not asking them why they're here, but it's important to know, like, what makes them use Sylvan Way? What makes them use Little Boston? Like, what is the value you get? So I think it's a combination of a lot of different things. 80-year anniversary, it's summer, people are out anyway. Summer reading has a way of bringing people to a lot of events. And obviously that can skew numbers in terms you get a lot more people attending over the summer. But you can see month over month too that's where the real value is. You see the stats growing every month. So I think Communications has done a wonderful job on the 80-year campaign. I think Public Services has done a wonderful job at just continuing to level set what good customer service looks like and what does public service look like, because we're public servants. And so at the end of the day, I think people are really proud of what they do. We have solid staff who are well trained, and that's always the challenge. How do we continue this? And so I want us to be better today than we were yesterday and the day before, and I want that to continue. But we can only do that by showing up and feeling positive about your work. And the last thing I'll say is that it's this. This is why I talk to a lot of our workers when I'm, in the branch and I walk through on lunch and pick up a couple books or things like that, is that people genuinely enjoy working for the library. It's a job that is unlike any other. You actually, and no offense to people who have other jobs, Eric, sorry, or Mawan or anybody else, but a library's a dream job. You get to have a lot of fun, and there's a lot of magic happening, and it doesn't ever really feel, for the frontline library worker, what I would say is it doesn't feel like work. I jumped in a shrimp costume at Silverdale yesterday, and I was just going to meet the branch manager, and I go in for a meeting, and I end up finishing my stint in a shrimp costume, riding a shrimp around the staff room. So I think, that sort of energy translates from behind the scenes to on the floor, and I think, I didn't give you one thing. I think it's all of those things. And my staff may have a different perspective, but I think it's a combination of all those things, because when you look at stats, I think the end result is like there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that the public never sees in terms of how does all this, how does the end product get to where it is and to what it is. And it's because there's a lot of hard work, there's a lot of dedication, and there's a lot of effort being put into this. Even though it's such a fun job, it takes a lot of effort to do that. Like, it takes a lot of creativity to create an engaging summer reading program, to create an 80-year anniversary, to keep staff motivated. There's a lot that goes into it, and these folks are responsible for that. I live vicariously through them. I don't have the job where the fun happens like that anymore. My fun happens with these guys, doing the grunt work. So I'm really happy about what we do, and I'm proud of our staff. Shannon probably has more anecdotes.
Yes to all of that, and I just want to celebrate. I think our team has done incredible work in the outreach that they do, and that has contributed a lot as well with programs like Primetime that you've seen, with our outreach to kind of new audiences and new events. I'm thinking about Juneteenth or Island Fest. Like, we're just being in places where maybe we haven't been as strongly before. And making those connections. And it's been really cool to see that grow under our new strategic plan. And I have to believe that that's had an impact as well.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree with that. I think, the summer's really where you really see that shine, because staff are taking part in these events, and Public Services developed this model where we have staff leading all of these events, and we've added more. There's a couple I learned about that I didn't know we were participating in when I was at Silverdale that, are hyper local, and that won't necessarily involve staff from across the region, but that's what, That's what community engagement looks like. It's figuring out what's relevant in the community, how can we be a part of, and how can we educate people about our services. And eventually that translates to circulation numbers, because then people want to use the library. So, you got anything?
Just the last thing I would say is for people that may be tuning in to tonight, go back and watch some of the other board meetings. Your empowerment of staff to create unique programs, I think, has a big reason for the numbers being up as well. And if you tune into some of the other meetings, you can see those presentations. It's one of my favorite parts about coming to the board meeting every month and hearing about all the innovation and just how empowered they feel and just how great the programs are.
Yeah, and we hope to have more. The goal for us is to have any level of staff really to talk about how they really represent that mission in their work, because everybody's doing it. Everybody's not going to feel comfortable coming up here and doing it, but I hope that you hear from a broad range of staff and about a broad range of things that folks are doing, because they all deserve to be celebrated. They all won't want to be celebrated, but I think you've seen a good cross-section of everything from, custodians who collect library cards to folks who are, making teen engagement happen in a way that we've never made it happen before, to, just a little bit of everything. Jeannie, close us out. What do you got to say?
I was just going back to your comment about April specifically, and that is when we had the mug hunts.
I've just everything that's been discussed in the last 15 minutes, from the outreach to the engagement to the mug hunts to the summer learning and summer reading, and Shannon also mentioned the strategic plan. That's really what I was thinking about, and the fact that when we started writing that strategic plan, one of the things that I'd said somewhat in jest was, I don't want this strategic plan exercise to be a thing that we do it and then we forget about it, and we come back to it 5 years later and realize we didn't do anything. But the strategic plan really encompasses the passion of what staff already does in their passion for connecting and serving, and I just think that's a really wonderful thing. And I'm happy to see it. I love hearing the passion of what you all do. So, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything else for Jason or leadership staff? Okay. With that, we'll go to 10.01, future meeting dates. Our next board meeting is Tuesday, August 26th. We'll also have our long-range strategic planning committee meeting. With that, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.